Top 5 gang members' reaction to life sentence. Listening to the word gang members, all you could think of is guns and violence. Most of these gang members often end up in life sentences, but some weirdly react to this. Let's look at 5 gang members' reactions to life sentences. Number 5. Abel Gallegos. Abel Gallegos, 36, was sentenced to life in prison plus 163 years last month. Gallegos was found guilty of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, second-degree kidnapping, retaliation against a witness, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with evidence. Duran, who had been approached on social media by 36-year-old Abel Gallegos of Lakewood, met with him, Rene Francisco Rosales, 36 of Lakewood, and some others in early November 2018. Duran, Gallegos, and Rosales all left the house at the same time, and Rosales returned home. Meanwhile, according to the district attorney's office, Gallegos took Duran to a parking lot at West Colfax and Kipling, where he had previously arranged to meet with Quintana. Duran was assaulted and imprisoned in the back of the car before being driven to a dark, secluded location near West 7th Avenue and Nile Street in Golden. According to the district's attorney's office, Gallegos and Quintana shot Duran 10 times outside the car. The men walked away from the scene. According to the district attorney's office, Gallegos and Rosales returned later and poured gasoline on her body before setting it on fire. Around 1:30 a.m., firefighters responded to a call about a bushfire in the area, discovering her body. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office said the woman, identified as Duran a few days later, died of gunshot wounds. The 3 men were arrested separately on November 8th, 9th, and 20th, 2018. Gallegos was arrested on an unrelated charge before being formally charged with homicide. Abel Gallegos, 36 of Lakewood, was sentenced to life in prison plus 163 years on January 31, 2020. According to the district attorney's office, he received an aggravated sentence because he was on federal probation at the time of the crime. This was his 6th felony charge. According to the district attorney's office, his parole or probation has been revoked 8 times. Take a look at his reaction. Number 4. Lockett Gibson. According to prosecutors and a new report, 5 Atlanta gangbangers were convicted of torturing and killing a former police informant in the most brutal murder in the city's recent history. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the men, members of the Gangster Disciples street gang, murdered Christopher Dean, 33, in October 2016 after learning he was once a police witness in California. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office said in a statement that Christopher Lockett, 30, had invited Dean to the home of the brothers Xavier Gibson, 23, and Orlando Gibson, 30, when Dean expected to complete a drug transaction with Lockett. Instead, Dean was brutally beaten with a 2x4 and a crowbar and sodomized with a handle-like object, according to prosecutors, and seminal fluid was discovered in his rectal cavity. Dean was then allegedly shot twice in the back of the head by the Savage crew. Prosecutors said the cold-blooded murder was intended to show other gang members that any police informant activity would not be tolerated. Lockett paid Jasper Green, 27, and Lamar Allman, 25, to clean up the gruesome scene and burn Dean's body and car. But the body was in such a gruesome state that they instead dumped the corpse in the trunk of Dean's car and left the vehicle in the parking lot of the Hamilton E. Holmes subway station, according to prosecutors. Atlanta police discovered the body, and 7 suspects were apprehended, according to the DA's office. According to prosecutors, Lockett, Xavier Gibson, Quatez Clark, 21, and Joshua Rooks, 27, and Jasper Green, 27, were convicted Monday of murder, criminal street gang participation, and other related felonies. They were all sentenced to life imprisonment for all the horrific crimes they committed over the time. Take a look. Number 3. Carpio Brothers.
2 gang members were sentenced today for killing a teenager on a high school campus in the Valley. CBS 2's Randy Page shows us what happened in the Van Nuys courtroom.
According to the Los Angeles County District's Attorney's Office, 2 brothers were sentenced on January 15, 2015, for the death of an 18-year-old man at Cleveland High School in Reseda. According to Deputy District Attorney Scott Marcus, Anthony Carpio, 18, was sentenced to 16 years to life in state prison, and Michael Stephen Carpio, 20, was sentenced to 15 years to life. Marcus stated that the brothers were found guilty of second-degree murder in the death of Kevin Orellana on October 31st. Michelle Pineda, 21, was sentenced to 2 years in county jail on November 4th after pleading no contest to one felony count of accessory after the fact with knowledge of a crime. According to the prosecutor, the brothers approached Orellana while he was playing handball at Grover Cleveland High School on April 24, 2013. According to court testimony, the defendants issued a gang challenge, which resulted in a fight. According to witnesses, Anthony Carpio stabbed Orellana during the fight. Marcus stated that the Carpio brothers then collided with a vehicle driven by Pineda. According to CBS 2's Randy Page, the Carpio brothers sat expressionless in the Van Nuys courtroom as Judge Martin Herskovitz read the sentence. Marcus read a victim impact statement prepared by Orellana's family before sentencing. As parents, we intend to dance at their wedding, celebrate a promotion, and anticipate the possibility of grandchildren. The last thing we'd want to think about is planning their funeral. Marcus quoted the statement. The two brothers will not be eligible for parole until 2028 at the earliest. Take a look. Number 2. Gang of Three.
Tonight, the case against 4 men accused of killing a popular local party store owner is moving forward.
7 Action News reporter Dave Llewellyn is live in Clinton Township where the suspects faced a judge. Dave, what was the mood inside the courtroom?
In March 2014, 3 men walked into the Moonlight Party store on Harper, 2 with guns and 1 a carrying bag. They were dressed as ninjas by defense attorney Joseph Kosmala, wearing black clothes, hoods, and masks covering all but their eyes. Hill is suspected of driving the getaway car, which was parked on a nearby street. A Macomb County jury found 3 men guilty this afternoon in the 2014 murder of Bassem Basil Sulaka during a robbery of his Clinton Township party store. Bassem Sulaka, 51, of Sterling Heights, was killed during a robbery at his Moonlight Party store in Clinton Township on March 28, 2014. Darius Diaz-Gaskin, Jamar Robinson, and Kenneth Hill were all found guilty of first-degree felony murder, armed robbery and conspiracy, and felony firearms charges. Macomb County Circuit Judge Mary Chanowski will sentence the men to life in prison without the possibility of parole on August 4th. After deliberating for 2 days, the jury delivered its verdicts late in the afternoon. The trio was tried concurrently before a single jury. They had all done it. In our opinion, they all murdered him. Kayla Sulaka, one of Bassem Sulaka's 2 daughters, stated. Linda Sulaka, his widow, stated, "He did not deserve it. I'm content. Justice has been served." During closing arguments Tuesday, Assistant Prosecutor Teresa Tobin told the jury that men were on one team and had a plan. A plan, she said, that cost Bassem Sulaka his life. Diaz-Gaskin, according to police, fired the single shot that killed the 51-year-old Sterling Heights man during a March 2014 holdup at his popular business. Tobin testified that Robinson, the self-avowed bag man, stepped over Mr. Sulaka like he was a bag of garbage on his way to more money. And Hill, who was deaf, drove the group, which included another defendant, Clinton Grayson, to and from the store. The men changed at Hill's apartment before the heist and returned afterwards. Diaz-Gaskin, Robinson, and Hill, all in their 20s and from the Detroit area, were charged with the same offenses. Grayson, 25, was convicted of the same charges by a separate jury last month and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Number 1. George Gerald Thomas. Cape Town. On Wednesday, the Western Cape High School sentenced George Gerald Thomas, the feared 28th gang leader in Bishop Lavis, to an effective 175 years in prison. He was sentenced to life in prison for each of the 7 murders for which he was found guilty. In May, Judge Chantel Fortuin convicted Thomas on 7 counts of murder, 2 counts of racketeering, 3 counts of belonging to a criminal gang, 3 counts of conspiracy to commit a crime, 10 counts of inciting the commission of a crime, 3 counts of attempted murder, 1 count of housebreaking with the intent to commit robbery, 3 counts of theft, 11 counts of illegally possessing firearms, and 10 counts of illegally possessing ammunition. Thomas was found guilty of the murders of Angela Klassen on February 28, 2008, in Elsie's River, Glennston Martin and Yusria Abrahams on February 28, 2008, in West Bank, Haywin Stridham on November 5, 2008, in Bishop Lavis, Cecil Barnes on October 16, 2009, at his home in Bishop Lavis, Gresham Boyson on October 26, 2009, in Kleinvley, and Nadine Davids on February 14, 2010, in Bishop Lavis. When the case began in the Western Cape High Court 4 years ago, Thomas and 18 of his co-accused were initially charged. Fred Williams and Jason Steiner, 2 of the accused, were later acquitted on all charges. Williams was assassinated not long after his acquittal. The group was initially confronted with 166 different counts. Thomas received the harshest sentence and was found guilty on all 53 counts. These were all convicted and then sentenced to life. No matter how severe the punishment gets, some still commit even worse crimes. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe.